Okay, now we are doing for standard 10 coordinate geometry. We are dealing with section formula, and I'm picking up the board problems which came into your board examination in different years. You can look at the question and you'll realize how simple questions are being asked on this, and it is not scary at all to worry. This coordinate geometry is one of the simplest chapter which you will deal with, and you will be able to get good marks out of that. That is why it is necessary to understand it. It is not difficult at all. There is not much to understand. There is not much to remember. Once you do a little bit practice, you'll be able to do fine. Now let us look at this question. We had done three formulas, if you remember. The first was section formula. I'll just recap the whole thing. Section formula was mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n. These are the coordinates of the point which divides the join of A and B in the ratio of m is to n, where x1, y1 and x2, y2 are two end coordinates. M and n is the ratio in which it is dividing, and x is the x coordinate of that join. That point which divides. Y was given as my2 plus ny1 upon m plus n. This was x and y coordinate. Then we have this midpoint formula, x2 plus x1 upon 2, and y was y2 plus y1 upon 2. This is midpoint formula. Then we had centroid of the triangle, x1 plus x2 plus x3 upon 3, y1 plus y2 plus y3 upon 3. These were the three formulas which we will be using often again in this chapter. So let us see what is the first question. The first question, he says that there is a diameter of the circle. AB is the diameter with the center C. Center C is given as minus 2, 5. And he says one end A is 3 minus 7. He wants to find another end B, number 1, and he wants to find out the radius AC. So we are going to apply directly the distance formula for calculating AC. I know the coordinates of A, I know the coordinates of C, so I can calculate easily AC. What is AC? AC would be under root x1 minus x2 whole square. Formula is plus y1 minus y2 whole square. That is 3 minus minus 3 minus minus 2, so it will become 3 plus 2 whole square, plus minus 7 minus 5 whole square. That will become 5 whole square plus minus 12 whole square. That is 25 plus 144. That is 169. That will be 13. We don't take minus because we are calculating a distance, so we are going to take actually the modulus. When we take a square root, we always take the modulus of 169 or root 169. That will be modulus of, so it will be positive always. It will be always positive. Why it is positive? Because it is distance. Distance will be always positive. Whatever the unit is there, 13 unit. Because the distance will have unit, centimeter, kilometer, decimeter, decameter, whatever it is. So 13 unit. Now question is, he's asking you the other end B. You know what is the diameter? Diameter is the biggest chord of the triangle. It is the chord which passes through the center of the circle. A and B are the two ends, and it will always pass through the center of the circle, because that is how AB becomes as the biggest chord, longest chord. Because if you move away from the center, either upward or downward or sideways or to the right or to the left, the length of the chord will keep decreasing. But when you move towards the center, the length keeps increasing, and when it passes through the center, the chord will be the biggest chord. So he wants the other end B. This is known. We have to find the third coordinate, x1, y1. You know what is the midpoint formula is. Midpoint formula is, suppose this is part A, part B of this question. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add up both the x coordinate, 3 plus x1. 3 plus x1 divide by 2, you will get the x coordinate of the midpoint. x1 plus x2 upon 2 is the x midpoint. Midpoint of x here is minus 2. It is not necessary that he will give you always the two end and ask you to calculate the midpoint. He can give you the one end like he has given here and the midpoint and ask you to calculate the other end. So 3 plus x1, we will add the x coordinate. X coordinate of A, x coordinate of B, two ends. We'll add the x coordinate, divide by 2, and we should get the x coordinate of the midpoint. That is minus 2 here. So 3 plus x1 is equal to minus 4. Or x1 will be minus 4 minus 3, that is minus 7. We got minus 7. Now minus 7 plus x plus y1 upon 2 is equal to 5. Now we are adding the y coordinate. Y coordinate of A, y coordinate of B, divide by 2. Divide by 2 and you will get the y coordinate of the midpoint, which is 5. Minus 7 plus y1 is equal to 10, or y1 will be 10 plus 7. It will become how much? 17. It will become 17. So B will be minus 7, 17. You can see that if it is minus 7, 17, minus 7, 17. Minus 7 plus 3 is how much? Minus 4. Minus 4 divided by 2 will give you minus 2, which is the coordinate here. Minus 7 plus 17 will be 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5, which is the y coordinate. So these are, we have got the distance AC, the length of AC. This is the radius. If you want to calculate AB, obviously it will be 26 unit. It will be 26 unit because diameter is just the double of the radius. I calculated AC. AC is the radius, which is 13 unit, and if I double it, I'll get the diameter. Now another thing he wanted was the coordinates of B. For that we applied the midpoint formula. We got the value of this. Is that clear? Now let's proceed to the next question. Question number 2. Let's see the figure of question number 2. He has given you, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. What he has given you a coordinate A, 2, 3, which will be in the first coordinate. Because both are positive. X is positive, Y is positive. So A will be in the first coordinate. And he has given you B, another coordinate, 6 minus 5, which is X is positive, Y is negative, which will be in the third coordinate, which will be in the fourth quadrant. You don't need to do it like that, but I like to demonstrate so that you understand clearly how the positioning of the points is. And A is joined to B. It cuts x-axis. Obviously, if a point in first quadrant will be joined to a point in the fourth quadrant, the line will cut x-axis. It cuts x-axis at point K. So he wants to know what are the coordinates of K. He wants to know what are the coordinates of K, and also he wants to know what is the value of m is to n. In what ratio does this K divide AB? First of all, you must understand a point on x-axis. A point on x-axis. K is on x-axis. K is on x-axis. On x-axis, y coordinate is 0. On x-axis, y is 0. That we know. So coordinates of k. So coordinates of k. Coordinates of k will be what? X 0. Coordinates of k will be x 0. Why? Because there will be some value of x, but y is 0. Let ak is to kb, m is to n. Let us assume the ratio in which it divides, k divides the line in the ratio of m is to n. Now let us apply the section formula. Section formula is the x coordinate of this point, m into this, n into that. We told you that this side m should multiply, should go to this side, and n should go to that side. Always in the section formula it should be crossing each other. So x will be m into x2, m into 6, that is 6m, plus n into 2, plus 2n, upon m plus n. We get this. And y we will get as what? M into minus 5 minus 5m plus 3n upon m plus n. But please remember y is 0. Y coordinate is 0. Y coordinate is here 0. So m plus n will be a positive number, definitely, because when you will add two lengths m and n, they will be positive. A positive number can always be multiplied by 0 to get a 0. So 0 will be equal to minus 5m plus 3n, or 5m is equal to 3n, or m upon n is equal to 3 upon 5. First thing. We have got the ratio. We have got the ratio in which the point K divides the join of A and B. M is to N is 3 is to 5. M is to N is 3 is to 5. Now he wants to know what are the coordinates. Already I know the y coordinate, I have to calculate x coordinate. So that means I should, if I could put the value of m and n here, I've always told you that whenever ratio is given, just write it as 3a upon 5a. That means I can take m as 3a and n as 5a. For a will cancel. Even if you take 3 and 5, it will be equal, it will be alright, but for the sake of correctiveness, we must take m as 3a and n as 5a. Let us put the value 6 into 3a plus 2 into 5a upon 3a plus 5a. This will be equal to 18a plus 10a upon 8a. 5 plus 3 is 8. 6 3 is 18, 5 2 is 10. So 28a upon 8a. This will cancel. 214, 24, 27, 22. So the coordinates of K will be 7 by 2, 0. 7 by 2 means 3.5, approximately 3.5 or 3.5, 3.5 and 0. So this line will be cutting at, this AB will be cutting x-axis at 3.5, and of course y coordinate will be 0. So we calculated the value of m is to n. We did not put m is equal to 3 or n is equal to 5. We put m is equal to 3a and n is equal to 5a. In ratios we always do that. We have told you this many a times. Once we got the m and n, m as 3a and n as 5a, we substituted the value of m and n in the coordinate x to get the value of x. That way it came out to be 28a upon 8, and then 4 2s are 8, 4 7s are 28, so 7 upon 2. 7 upon 2 is 3.5. Okay, these question number 3 and 4 are similar kind of questions that we look at. Exactly similar, there is not much of difference. He says in question number 3, he says AB is any line segment. The end coordinates A are minus 4, 3 and 8, minus 6 in the second quadrant, in the fourth quadrant. If we join them, he says this line cuts, I don't know where will it cut, I'm just saying it cuts x-axis at point x is 0. Because it is cutting x-axis, so y coordinate will be 0. That is what I'm presuming, that y coordinate is 0. He says first of all find the coordinates of k and also find out the ratio in which the x-axis divide the join of A and B. So what are we going to do? Again we are going to use the section formula. The x coordinate will be mx2. M, this side will go to here. 8m. N will multiply x coordinate here minus 4n upon m plus n. This is x coordinate. We don't know m and n, so we can't calculate the value of x. We will calculate the value of x by calculating the value of m and n, which we will get from y coordinate. Because y coordinate is 0. Y coordinate is 0 because it is lying on x-axis, and m into minus 6, minus 6n plus 3n upon m plus n. Now when we cross multiply, we will get minus 6n plus 3n, or 6n is equal to 3n, or m upon n is equal to 3 upon 6, this is 1 upon 2. The ratio is 1 is to 2. The ratio is 1 is to 2. I can take n to be a and y to be 2a. N to be 2a, 1 upon 2. Now let us put the values here. 8 into ma minus 4 into 2a upon a plus 2a. It will come out to be 8a minus 8a upon 3a, which will be 0. X is 0. So k is 0, 0. K is 0, 0. That means k is the origin. That means this point is lying at the origin. I don't know, when I'm drawing the figure, I don't know whether k will be 0, 0. But from the calculation, k comes out to be 0, 0. That means this line AB is passing through origin. The first point, find k. We have found the k, 0, 0. It is origin. This is origin. We have to find m is to n. We have got m is to n. He wants the length of AB. He wants to find the length of AB. So I can use the section, I can use the distance formula to calculate AB. That is minus 4 minus 8 whole square. Minus 4 minus 8 whole square plus 3 plus 6 whole square. 12 whole square plus 9 whole square. 12 is 144, 81, 225, and which will be 15 unit. So the length of AB will be 15 unit. Exactly on the same basis we are going to do question number 4. Exactly on the same principle we are going to do question number 4. These are mainly questions when the line segment AB is cutting x-axis or y-axis. It divides the line in the ratio of m is to n. He'll ask you to calculate the coordinates of k, and he'll ask you to calculate the ratio m is to n, and he might ask you to calculate any length which is possible. Now let's see fourth question. In the fourth question, again, in the first and fourth quadrant, points are given. A is minus 4, 6, B is 8, minus 3. Find the ratio in which y-axis cuts it. Also find the points of k. Now when it is, the line is cutting x-axis, y-axis, So the coordinates of k will be 0, y. Because on y-axis, x is 0. So coordinates of k will be 0, 1. Like on x-axis we had x0, on y-axis we have 0, y. Because on x-axis y coordinate is 0, on y-axis x coordinate is 0. Now it is m is to n, so let us calculate. 0 will be equal to x coordinate is 0, 0 will be equal to m into 8, n into minus 4. m into 8, 8m minus 4n upon m plus n. You add up the m and n, m plus n. So when we cross multiply, we will get 0 is equal to 8m minus 4n, or you will get 8m is equal to 4n, or m upon n will be 4 upon 8. That is 1 upon 2 again. It is a upon 2a. So m is to n ratio is 1 is to 2. m is to n is 1 is to 2. 8m is equal to 4n. So m upon n will be 4 upon 8. That is 1 upon 2. Okay. Now let us calculate the y coordinate of the k. Y coordinate will be m into minus 3m plus 6n upon m plus n. We know what is the value of m. m is a, n is 2a. So let us put the value. Minus 3 into a plus 6 into 2a upon a plus 2a. That will be 6 2s are 12. 12 minus 3 is 9a upon 3a. That will come out to be 3. So coordinates of m will be 0, 3. Coordinates of k will be, coordinates of k will be 0, 3. Coordinates of k will be 0, 3. Y cuts it also find the point k. We have got the point k. We also have got the ratio in which it is dividing, that is 1 is to 2. In question number 5, I have A, B and C are the vertices of a triangle ABC. Vertices of the triangle ABC. I draw the figure for your convenience. ABC. The coordinates of A are 10, 5. The coordinates of B are minus 1, 2, minus 1, 2, and C is 5, 8. 5, 8. Now let us calculate the coordinates. He says L is the midpoint of AB. L is the midpoint of AB. So let us calculate the midpoint of AB. L midpoint of AB. Midpoint of AB. So how will I calculate the midpoint of AB? X is equal to 10 minus 1 upon 2. That is 9 upon 2. And y will be, you add up the y coordinate, 5 plus 2, 7 upon 2. So coordinates of L come out to be 9 by 2 and 7 by 2. And M is the midpoint of AC. M, midpoint of AC. Midpoint of AC. That is y is equal to, again x coordinate we will calculate by adding 10 plus 5, 15 upon 2. 10 plus 5, 15 upon 2. And y will be 5 plus 8 upon 2, that is 13 upon 2. So the coordinates of M are 15 upon 2 and 13 upon 2. So we have got the coordinates of L and M as required by the question. Now he said write down the coordinates of L and M, which I have written. Now he wants to calculate LM. He says show that LM is half of BC. Let us calculate what is LM. LM will be now 15 by 2 minus 9 by 2. 15 minus 9 upon 2 whole square plus 13 minus 7 upon 2 whole square, which will come out to be 15 minus 9 is 6, 6 upon 2 is 3, 3 whole square is 9. Here 13 minus 7 is 6, 6 upon 2 is again 3, 3 whole square is 9. So it will be 9, 3 root 2. 3 root 2 unit. It will come out to be 3 root 2 unit. Let us calculate BC. Let us calculate BC. BC is 5 minus 1, that will become 5 plus 1 whole square, plus 8 minus 2 whole square. That is 6 whole square, 36 plus 36. Again, it will be 72, so 36, 6 root 2. 6 root 2 unit. Now you can see that ABC is double of LM, or LM is half of BC. The length of LM is 3 root 2, the length of BC is 6 root 2, and this length is half of this length. This length is half of this length. Okay? Now let us see question number 6. I have, let us see, ABC are vertices of the triangle, find the centroid. We have to find the centroid. Centroid is given as x1 plus x2 plus x3 upon 3, and y coordinate is given as y1 plus y2 plus y3 upon 3. This is question number 6. You just add up the x coordinate of all the 3 vertices, divide by 3, add up all the y coordinates of the vertices and divide by 3. So x is actually minus 1 plus 1 plus 5 upon 3. That is 5 upon 3. And y is 3 plus 3 minus 1 plus 1 upon 3. That is 1. So G is called the centroid. Centroid G is given by the coordinates 5 by 3 and 1.